I recognize the member for York Southwestern.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to start off by thanking my wonderful colleague from Richmond Hill. Speaker, I rise today to support this motion to allow the Standing Committee on Justice Policy to receive, meet, review, and respond to the report written by the member from Kitchener South Hespeler. The member from Kitchener South Hespeler has done a wonderful job spending countless hours on this. I would also like to acknowledge the Associate Minister of Women's Social and Economic Opportunity for the effort that she's putting into this as well, and I want to thank her. Speaker, this should be straightforward. This committee has done its work. The motion simply lets them meet, review the findings, and present the final product to the House so that we can all move forward together. Instead, the opposition has chosen to turn this into political theater. They are forcing debate on something procedural, while survivors and service providers wait for the next phase of action. The Subcommittee on Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence spent months hearing testimony from over 150 people, experts, advocates, police, healthcare workers, shelter staff, and survivors. They heard the evidence to underlie a framework that connects prevention, justice, housing, and mental health. And now, after all that work, the opposition is choosing to delay over delivery. Speaker, what this government is choosing is action. Action that has already begun and that is making a real difference in communities across Ontario. The government has listened to the themes that emerged from the committee's hearings. We've heard the calls for long-term stability in victim services, for better coordination across ministries, for earlier prevention, and for more consistent data. Those same themes are already reflected in the work underway through our Ontario stands, through Pathways to Safety, through our anti-human trafficking strategy, and through our historic investments in housing, healthcare, and women's economic opportunity. This isn't talk, Speaker, it's a record. In 2023, our government launched Ontario Stands, standing together against gender-based violence, now through decisive action, prevention, empowerment, and supports. It is a $1.4 billion plan focused on prevention, survivor support, and system integration. We expanded it last year with another $100 million for 85 community-based projects addressing the root cause of violence. These projects build partnerships between schools, shelters, police services, and local organizations so that early warning signs don't fall through the cracks. We also secured more than $160 million in partnership funding from the federal government through the National Action Plan to end gender-based violence. Because ending violence is not the job of a single province or a single ministry. It's a national responsibility. Speaker, in response to the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, Ontario created Pathways to Safety. Designed and led with guidance from Indigenous Women's Advisory Council, we listened. We funded community-driven programs that combine cultural safety with practical support in housing, healing, and justice. We've also renewed and expanded the Ontario Anti-Human Trafficking Strategy, investing another $350 million over 5 years, bringing our total investment to more than $650 million by 2030. That is the largest dedicated anti-trafficking commitment of any province in Canada. It has helped thousands of women and youth escape exploitation and rebuild their lives. Speaker, the opposition can keep pretending nothing is being done, but every survivor who walks into a shelter, every counselor funded to deliver trauma-informed therapy, every police officer trained in risk assessment knows the truth. Ontario is acting. We've also recognized that safety and economic independence are inseparable. That's why we expanded the Women's Economic Opportunity Program and the Investing in Women's Future program, which have already helped tens of thousands of women gain the skills and confidence to build stable and independent lives. These programs include pre-employment training, entrepreneurship support, and counseling for survivors of violence. And we're going further. The new Women Economic Leadership and Legacy Fund, the WELL Fund, will provide dedicated support for survivors of trafficking who want to rebuild through education and entrepreneurship. This is what commitment looks like. It's not a slogan. It's not a budget line. It's not a press release. It's a partnership agreement signed, funded, working on the ground. And earlier this week, we announced $26.7 million investment to increase shelter capacity and strengthen the Family Court Support Work Program. Speaker, more than 300 new shelter spaces at 65 sites across Ontario. The Ontario Association of Interval and Transition Houses said it best. It's investments like this one that open the doors to safety, well-being, and a future free from violence. That is what we're doing, opening doors. Speaker, here's what frustrates me, and the opposition knows all this. They know the scale of these investments. They know that the government of Ontario has invested millions of dollars into prevention, survivor supports, justice modernization, and continues to do so. Yet the opposition continues to tell the public and tell the survivors that nothing has been done. The kind of rhetoric is not just wrong, it is dangerous. When political actors insist there are no supports, when they use their platform to spread messages that no one cares, they risk convincing survivors that there's no help to be found. That, calling a hotline, walking into a shelter space, or seeking counseling won't make a difference. That narrative isolates people. It breeds despair. So let's be very clear. This government is not denying the seriousness of intimate partner violence. We are treating it as one of the undeniable public safety and public health issues of our time. The ones undermining that seriousness are those who use it as a stage. When the opposition chooses performative outrage over progress, they contribute to hopelessness. They tell survivors that the government does not care, when the truth is that this government has done more, financially, structurally, and culturally, than any other government before it. We can debate ideas, Speaker, all day, but no one in this province should ever be told that help isn't there. That message perpetuates abuse, and it perpetuates hopelessness. The motion before us is about finishing the committee's work so that Ontario can keep building on what has already been achieved. It allows us to move from hearings to formal recommendations, to connect themes that the committee's heard with programs already underway. It's about continuity, consistency, and credibility. This government has heard what the committee's heard, that prevention works when it starts early, that justice modernization saves lives, that frontline workers need stability, and that data must guide decisions. These are the very principles driving Ontario Stands and every other initiative we've launched. This is how serious governments behave. We identify, we invest, and we implement. And the truth, Speaker, is Ontario's progress has been built on partnerships. Every dollar invested through these programs supports the work of community organizations, local shelters, Indigenous leaders, and educators. These are the people keeping Ontario safe. They deserve to know that their government sees them, funds them, and stands behind them. When the oppositions tell the province has done nothing, it disrespects those workers. The women's shelters directors in Kenora, the outreach counselors in Peel, and the officers in Kingston, the social workers in Windsor, the volunteers who run crisis lines in Northern Ontario. They are doing life-saving work every day, and their efforts are strengthened by the provincial leadership and investment. Speaker, this government doesn't see the report review process as a delay. We see it as a discipline. This motion is discipline.